Hey, so today I wanted to tell you all the story of when I went camping. It's a good story. There's a video of it on the channel. Well, a part of it, I'll get to that. Anyway, so I went out to a place called Providence State Park. It's a canyon in Georgia, and it's quite a distance from where I am. Not too far though. Well, where I was, probably by the time that, I don't know. Anyway, I went out there and I go to the front desk and ask if I need some kind of permit because I purchased the camping site for $12 for one night, right? Because I had to stay out there for one night, right? It was my last night of a 4-day pass I had. So I was going out there just to go camping basically, just to sleep for the night. It's stupid, but I didn't want to pay $200 for a hotel. I mean, there was other options, of course, but those options had far passed, so I made my decision to go camping. So I was very under equipped for this camping expedition, and I'm out there with like a bunch of stuff I don't really need. I brought some food with me out to the campsite. I packed wheat thins, and yeah, it was pretty much my lunch, breakfast, and dinner. Yep, that day was awesome. But I got to the camp, I go to the front desk, and the guy there is like, "You don't want to go out there. It's gonna be getting real windy soon, but I can't really stop you. So before you go, I gotta make sure that this is okay with my manager, and then you can go. But I strongly advise you don't go out there because it's gonna get real bad tonight." And I was like, "I think I'll go out there." And his manager was okay with it, and it worked out. And then so I go out 4 miles down this trail, right? So it's a 4 mile trail. Well, it's an 8 mile trail basically, but 4 miles in was my campsite. I had chosen campsite number 6. It's the farthest one out from the visitor center, so farthest distance, pretty long walk. Wasn't bad though. I did it in some boots. The boots everybody hates, the ones you get issued when you first get to your reception. But I used those boots because while I had OTBs, I wasn't gonna put them on until after I finished it because I don't like comfort. So that's what happened pretty much for that part. But I got out to my campsite and I bedded down around 1700. I'd already had dinner and everything by that point. At 1700, I was like, "Yeah, I think it's time to go to bed. I'm gonna get to sleep early, get up early, and I'll be ready to move out, and it'll be all good." And so I go out, and well, my campsite. So some of the things that are important about the campsite is that there's a shack on the campsite, number 6. It's this 3-wall shack with one massive opening. There's a roof on it, which is nice. So I was pretty much set up, and I was like, okay, I might be able to weather this rainstorm in this. I don't really want my stuff getting wet because I got stuff I had a bunch of books and things on me. But I was like, yeah, I could probably weather the storm here. So I go to bed. I wake up at about 2000 to fireflies. It was my first time actually seeing what fireflies in Georgia look like. They're much different from where I come from. There is a lot more of them, and it's just Georgia has the most stupidest insects. My first encounter with insects here in Georgia was, well, actually gnats, but bees. I can tell you a story about that, but not today. Bees. Those bees are actually. There's 2 types in Georgia. There's the big bee, and then there's the one that looks like a yellow jacket, which probably is actually a yellow jacket, and it wants to rip your soul out. And then there's also the yellow jacket, which wants to rip your soul out. So that's what's nice about this place. Even the fire ants want to melt your soul out. If you accidentally stick your hand in a fire ant nest. You will have burns that last for, well, bites, I guess. I don't know, that last for quite a while. So, I know from experience that's not the best thing to do. You should take experience to know that's not the best thing to do, but it's not great. I didn't even know there was a. I can tell. I'm gonna just say that for another time, honestly. Anyway, so I went to sleep again, and I woke up at 01, and this was because water had dripped in through the one spot in the roof where there was a hole. So I shift, and 30 minutes later, water starts running in on the ground. It's really storming at this point, really storming. And it had been storming pretty much a lot that night. Lots of lightning, lots of wind. But I was like, I'm still sleeping through this until 1:30, and then that's when I got up and was like, okay, pack everything up. Let's get ready to move out. Let's wait for the storm to calm down. And it took until like 3 a.m. for the storm to calm down in the morning. So at 3 a.m. I was like, okay, I'm getting out of here. I'm just going. The storm is basically dying down. And here I am running through these flooded trails. I had 4 miles to go and I was going through a different path. This path would actually probably be a little shorter because I didn't go the full. There was actually a shortcut to cut off some of the miles in the path, which I took. So I took that path and yeah, got to the visitor center pretty quickly. All my stuff was soaked because the rain had picked up a few times. On the way back, at about between campsite 1 and 2, or like maybe it was 3 and 2. I think it was 3 and 2. Between some of those one of those sets of campsites on the trail, I ran into just a pair of glowing lights, and at that point in time, I was like, okay, I need to head towards the light because that's where the visitor center is. And so that's what I did. I went towards those lights, and it just darts back into the woods. That's a fucking cat. I'm gonna just keep going. I don't need to deal with whatever that was, but it should be fine. And then once I got to the visitor center, I knew I needed to get a ride to get back. But here's the funny thing. Here's where the story gets even worse. I couldn't get a ride where I was because Uber doesn't give rides out to those locations. In fact, I decided on going to town, right? Because I thought Uber doesn't go to campsites. So I walked 7 miles with no socks on because I didn't want to get my boots wet. Because my pair of boots was dry. It was my dirty 30s. My OTBs, I'd worn them on the trail. I'd worn them to go to bed because I knew I would probably need them in the morning. But, so I basically put on dry, dirty 30s with no socks on. And walked 7 miles to a town where I still couldn't get an Uber. And then I was like, crap, how am I gonna get back? And then some lady helped me get back.